Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a lovely day. It is definitely not summer here anymore like it was yesterday. Fall has arrived and it's much cooler here. So I'm glad that I was able to enjoy that weather yesterday, and hopefully if it was nice where you were too, you did also. So a few things going on today. One, we're going to talk about the keto diet. I was just on another page. I've been doing lots of talks and lives on other support groups lately. So I was just on another page talking about the keto diet, as that was a really big topic in their group that I wanted to touch on, and I thought I would offer it to your group, offer it to this group as well, because you guys are my community, and it is a very trending topic right now. So I thought it was important to just share some information and make sure that you're well educated on this whole topic, because it can be pretty complex, and I think trending topics, and especially trending diets, can be a little bit crazy and dangerous if not done right. So yeah, I just wanted to pop on. If you're wondering why I ever just kind of hang out at the beginning and chat to myself, it's because I am chatting to myself. Sometimes there is a delay from when I pop on and start the live and from when you can actually see me. So yeah, I'm just hanging out here waiting for you guys to come on. It doesn't usually tell me who is on though. So feel free to say hi and let me know that you can see me, that you can hear me, all those good things. But in the meantime, there has been a lot of new people join our group lately, so I just wanted to do a little bit more of an introduction on who I am and why I'm here and that sort of thing. So hi, I'm Katie. I run this Facebook group, and I also have a website at katiekahvo.com. And on there you can find all of my online services. So my business is completely run online, which is amazing. You can also find my blog. So there's lots of information on there. There's lots of freebies. There are recipes, all sorts of good stuff. So head over to katiekahvo.com if you want to check that stuff out. Otherwise, the basics. I am a holistic nutritionist. Basically what that means is that I went to school for natural nutrition at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. Makes sense. And that certified me as a registered holistic nutritionist. So as a nutritionist, I'm very passionate about food and the really profound effects that it can have on our body. Right? I think that food is so powerful. Through my own experiences of various different health issues, and my clients and family members and friends, I strongly believe in the power of food and what it can do to your body. When you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. So I think when it comes to fertility, this is a topic that we definitely need to discuss and just educate and remind people of that power. So now when it comes down to the holistic part of what I do, so what that means is that we approach the body as a whole. We approach it from a very holistic perspective. So what that means is, let's say you're coming to me with reproductive issues or fertility issues. I am not going to just look at your reproductive system. I'm going to look at your reproductive system, but I'm also going to look at your digestive system. I want to know what you're eating. I want to know how well your body is breaking it down and what it's doing with that. I'm going to look at things like your mindset, where your stress levels are at, where your hormones are at, how well are you sleeping at night, and how good is that sleep? What kind of quality of sleep are we having? And a whole range of other things. So we take it from a very holistic perspective, because our bodies is one thing, right? Like, it's all connected, and I think it's really important that we remember that, especially our mindset and our brain. I think often people think of them as two separate things, from our body to our brain and how our brain functions and our thoughts, and that's not the case. I'm sure you've heard, especially with fertility, that stress is plays a large role in that, and it can, for sure. And we do talk a lot about stress in this group in different ways, through food and other things that you can help to reduce that stress. So in keto diet, some things we're going to talk about today actually will apply to that as well. Okay, so I've been doing lots of rambling, but just quickly again. So I'm a holistic nutritionist, but why am I working in the realm of fertility? Because that's maybe a little bit random for some of you. So, like a lot of you here, we've had, the same or similar experiences. When my husband and I were ready to start growing our family and thinking about having children, it was a big shock to us when things didn't go as planned. We learned quickly that sex doesn't equal babies, no matter what you were taught in high school, right? It's a very different journey than we had originally thought it was going to be. Not a fun one, not something I wish on anyone, not a good one. It's a crappy journey. If we're being honest, it sucks, right? So there's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of things that happen. I mean, this is a very life-changing event. It really, really is. It gives you a whole new perspective on life and things that are important to you. You learn a lot about your body. So do a lot of other people, whether you like it or not. So it's a very life-changing event, really. But thankfully, it did take us a few years, but we were able to get pregnant. We do have a very sweet little 1.5-year-old girl who we love dearly. And through this whole process, I felt it really necessary to rethink my business a little bit and really aim to focus on this group of women who I could help through, all my educational background and my own personal experiences, and now seeing my experiences through other women and, specifically my clients and the successes that they've had. I wanted to fill that gap, and I wanted to make sure that I'm educating as much as possible, because it doesn't feel right having all this information inside of me and watching others suffer, and that's just not necessary. So the more I can help educate you, the more I think that you'll feel empowered and regain back a sense of control over this journey, because it is one that often you're just kind of walking through numbly. It's like I said, it's very emotional, and you often just do what everyone tells you to do, and you're trying anything and everything, right? So the more information I can give you, the more you can kind of be present and figure out what questions to ask and different things to think about in this journey. So yeah, I hope that this helps and you love the group and you're finding it informative. And then just quickly as a disclaimer, I do need to mention that I am not a medical professional, so anything you hear from me, see from me, read from me, any information that you get from me should be taken as information and not medical advice, as I am not a medical doctor. So yeah, cool. All right. Well, let's talk about the keto diet. Finally, eh? Okay, so keto diet. If you don't know what it is, it has been around for many, 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 many years. Back in the day, it was actually, when a lot of the studies started especially, it was actually used to help manage epilepsy and epileptic seizures. So really, basically, it has a focus primarily on fats, and it has very, very minimal carbs. So it's like an 80% fat intake during your day and like 5% carbs. I mean, it really fluctuates depending on who you talk to and different things you read on, but on average, that's how it goes. And then the rest is protein. So it's kind of a very minimal carb, low protein, really high fat. And eating like this, so what it does is it actually forces your body to stop using carbs, which carbs are usually, in this society that we live in North America especially, we eat a very high carb diet, and carbs are used to, they're broken down in your body into sugars, and then our body uses those sugars as fuel first, and then when it's not needed as fuel anymore, it stores it as fat for later. So when we switch the way we're eating and we're focusing on a really high fat diet and a really low carb diet, our bodies are now burning fat instead of carbs. So we're not using those carbs anymore, we're using the fat instead. And I think this is one of the reasons why it's so popular and super trendy right now, is because people often lose a lot of weight on it quickly for that reason. So, I mean, personally, I think it's really interesting because fat was so negatively looked on for so long in the 80s and 90s. All those studies from the cardiology area of health came out and talked very poorly about fat, but those have since been proven wrong and are not true at all. Yeah, fat is 100%, like 100% necessary for our bodies to function optimally, especially with fertility. So fat helps in all sorts of different areas of our body, and those things can include, especially for fertility, one reason why it's really often recommended is because it helps stabilize blood sugar levels. So women who struggle with PCOS are often recommended to go on a keto diet. Makes sense. It also helps, I just drew blank. It also helps with hormone production. So really, really important, again, in fertility, and just really optimal health and just functioning properly, because, I mean, hormones have such a huge role in our body. So fats are really, really important for that. It's good for ensuring that our body is moist, really. Like if you have dry skin, if you have a lack of cervical fluids, increase your fats. We always talk about moisturizing from the inside out. So if you're finding anything on your body to be dry, increase your water, increase your fats. You shouldn't need moisturizers and whatnot. So that's really what you should be focusing on. So, through these things, it's really easy to see why this would be such a trendy and popular diet, especially in the fertility world. It makes perfect sense from that perspective. However, unfortunately, there's been a lot of misinformation and confusion around this diet. A lot of doctors are recommending it. I'm not sure that they fully understand it, and they're not giving a lot of guidance if they do, which is really unfortunate, because if you're going to do the keto diet, it's really important that you do it correctly, because really it's a therapeutic diet. It's a therapeutic diet. It is not meant for everyone to do. It is not meant for you to do long term. It is a therapeutic diet used for very specific purposes, in very specific ways, for very specific people. And that has gotten lost in this whole trend of it, being really trendy and really, the cool thing to do, and, everyone's jumping on the keto diet train. And not to say that it's a bad thing, but it's really important to remember that this is not a diet for everyone. So, and something else that's important to remember, although you might be losing weight from it, it's important to remember that a skinny person or a skinnier person does not necessarily equal a healthier person. That is so, so, so important. So just because you're losing weight, just because you might be a healthier looking person, does not mean that you're healthy. Where are your nutrient levels at? If you are eating these diets that are so fat-based, and you have cut out all of your fruits and vegetables, like I'm seeing a lot of, where are your nutrients coming from, people? I hate to be so, blatant about it, but nutrients are what make our body function. That is a huge part of it. We have our macronutrients, which include our fats, proteins, and carbs. We need these three things. Your body can't function without them. What ratio your body does optimally with them is different for every single person. So that's why putting these strict rules and these strict numbers on these things isn't going to work for everybody. It's just not. There's billions and billions of people in this world, and every person will react differently to it. So figuring out what works best for you, whether that is a more, higher fat-based diet or not, that's something that you have to play with. That's something that you have to figure out. And you don't have to do it on your own. It's really, helpful if you work with a practitioner, whether that's a naturopath, whether that's a nutritionist like myself. There's lots of people out there that can help you figure that out and can get you on the right track. So, really making sure that you're getting the proper nutrients, especially with fertility. I mean, studies have already shown that, nutrients are really, really important for our bodies, and really, really important for, our health and well-being and fertility. I mean, that study recently came out about the importance of vitamin B3 and miscarriages, right? We already, most of us know about the importance of folic acid or folate in, prenatal health and pregnancy in order to help prevent spina bifida, right? I mean, there's other things like B12 and iron, vitamin D, all these things have been studied. We need proper levels of them in order for optimal fertility. And if we are not eating the proper food to give us those nutrients, then yeah, you're probably going to have trouble, right? So this is not a one-size-fits-all. This is not something to take lightly. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but you really have to do your research and understand it to make sure that it is the right one for you and that you're doing it in the right way. So, this is something that I just really wanted to make sure was clear, because I'm just seeing so much of it lately, and not done in the right way. A lot of people are doing the keto diet, but they're eating things like processed meats and a lot of processed dairy, a lot of, sour cream and cheese and, yogurts and I don't know, ice cream and all these things. And I'm like, this is not a true keto diet. It's just not. That's not the purpose. If you're eating processed junk food still, it doesn't matter if it's keto or vegetarian or paleo or, whatever label you want to put on it. It's junk food. Junk food is junk food. So, it's really important that we're getting back to whole, natural foods and, eating nutrient-dense foods. The more natural, untouched version of the food, typically the better, because that's the way that our bodies recognize it, that's the way that our bodies know it, and that's the way that our bodies are going to be able to break it down and use the nutrients and such in it in order to survive and function optimally. So, really important. A few people that the keto diet's not really meant for, people with digestive issues. If you've started the keto diet and you're like, I just feel rotten, this isn't working, my stomach's upset all the time, and you just feel like you have a lot of digestive issues, or that you already have a lot of digestive issues, the keto diet's probably not going to be something I would turn to right away. If you can get your digestive issues sorted out and to a much healthier balance, then maybe it's an option for you. But if you have digestive issues, if you have no gallbladder, this isn't going to work for you. You need your gallbladder in order to break down fats. So if you have gallbladder issues, keto diet, I really don't recommend it. If you have liver issues, your liver is a really, really important organ for breaking down and processing fats. So if you have liver issues, you're going to want to rethink the keto diet. If you are a vegetarian or vegan, a large amount of this diet revolves around animal-based fats. So it's not something personally that I would recommend for a vegetarian or vegan. It's going to be a lot more challenging for you to eat correctly and get the proper amount of nutrients through this way of eating. So not something that I recommend. Also, if you work out a lot, this is not a diet that is recommended for athletes. Okay, we need the carbs. We need the carbs when we're working out a lot, to give us that energy boost and potentially give us that really quick, fast, energy source. And fats aren't going to do that. Fats are a slow processing thing, which is really good in a lot of ways. That's why it helps to slow down our blood sugar. So if you have diabetes, if you have PCOS and insulin resistance problems, fats are awesome. Fats are awesome for that. But, not so good for other areas. So, just some things to think about. Overall, it's really important that you're just listening to your gut. You're listening to your body. What feels right to you? I see people making comments like, I'm just not feeling that great. Everyone's raving about all these positive things and they're losing weight and I'm not losing weight and I don't feel good and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Maybe you're not doing anything wrong. Maybe the keto diet is just not for you. And that's okay. That's totally fine. Maybe you're just really questioning some of the things that come up, like, no fruit, which isn't necessarily 100% keto. It really depends on who you talk to and who you look at, because everyone has various opinions on this. But if there's things that just don't feel right, in your mind and your gut, it's not sitting right with you, then just try something else. And you might be able to have a high-fat diet and a low-carb diet, but it doesn't have to be keto. It doesn't have to be keto. You can still eat high-fat and low-carb without it being keto. So, don't don't be so hard on yourself. Be kind to your body. Listen to your body, and see what it's telling you. See how you feel. That's really what all this comes down to, is how you feel. And there's blood work that you can do to see how well your body's reacting to it, and see what things are going on there. So making sure that your nutrient levels are topped up is really good. Yeah, what else? Oh, if this diet any diet, not just this diet, any new change, if it's not going correctly, if your body's not responding well to it, it can put extra stress on your body, and that's not something that you want. We have already plenty of stress. The last thing we want is to add more stress to our body. So again, just really listening to your body, seeing how you feel and how it's working for you, and just not being so hard at yourself. If it's not the right diet for you, then that's okay. That's totally fine. We'll just have to find someone else, and that's okay. So the focus for me, in terms of foods, I always recommend that people stick to their 3 macronutrients: our fats, our proteins, and our carbs. And when I say that, I mean really healthy fats. So I'm talking about hemp seeds and coconut oil, avocados, nuts and seeds, and that sort of thing. I'm not talking about chips and crackers and sour cream and processed cheese and that sort of thing. Those are not the greatest fats for you. Those are processed foods. They're junk, trans fats, that sort of thing that we talked about in a previous video. So yeah, I'm talking about healthy fats. That's where you want your focus to be. You also want to focus on really healthy, good quality proteins. When you're eating, especially animal proteins, you want to be eating healthy animals, because you're only going to get the nutrients and the good things from them if they are healthy to start with. If you're eating a sick, unhealthy animal, I mean, you're just bringing that stuff into your body. That's not really the wisest decision, right? So making sure that you're eating good, healthy, good quality animals for protein, or vegetarian and vegetarian sources. Making a good mixture of that would be really ideal. And then when I talk about carbs, I'm talking about fruits and vegetables. These are your nutrient powerhouses, and you need them. You really, really need them. We eat such high carb loads right now that we're not a starving population by any means, but we are a nutrient deficient population, absolutely. We just don't get enough nutrients in our day-to-day diet. So really, really important that we're making these changes just to feel our best and to really boost our fertility and our health. So yeah. Okay, so I found a few links while I was looking some of this stuff up that I wanted to share with you, so I will post them in the comments underneath this video, so you can check it out. There's loads of recipes in there as well, so if you are looking for more higher healthy fat content recipes, there's lots in these links that I will post below, which is a great starting point whether you're doing keto or not. Fats, like I said, are really, really important for you, really, really good for brain health and development, so not necessarily a bad thing. Just watch your body and see how you respond to it. Okay, so the second thing that's kind of related to this that I want to talk about, and if you want more information on what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating, how foods react in your body, and all that sort of stuff, you need to check out my Kickstarter program, because this is what we talk about. This is what we do, Basically, it's a 4-week program. It has 4 approximately 1-hour videos that get sent out to your inbox every Monday after you sign up for the program. And the first week we talk about digestion. It's all digestion. You might be thinking, what the heck does digestion have to do with fertility? We cover that. We talk about why it's important for your fertility. We talk about what things to look for to know if your digestion is doing really well or maybe not so well. We talk about how it all works. We talk about what to do with it and how to start making changes, because I don't believe in giving you information without giving you actionable things to move forward with it. What's the point, right? So we have a whole discussion about that. In the second week, we talk all about nutrition, and some of the things we covered today are carbs, proteins, and fats, what they are, why they're important. what you should be eating, what you should be avoiding, and why. The third week, we talk about meal planning, meal prepping, tips for eating out, tips for eating around family events, like Christmas and Thanksgiving that are coming up, that maybe don't have the healthiest food choices. Like, what do you do in those situations, and how do you not feel super awkward, and feel pressured into eating the junk food that might be there, right? So we talk about all that stuff. I even give you a meal plan, which is awesome. So, people often ask me, I just need to stop eating junk and I don't even know where to begin and I don't know what to eat. So, I added a meal plan into this program for that reason, because I think that sometimes meal planning can be a really good segue into making these changes. And if you have, the system and very step-by-step exactly what to do and what to eat every day, that's a really great way to get into it and get started and get on the right track. So there is a 1-week meal plan included in this program, which is stellar, and I do sell meal planning on the side, so if you wanted more, you can just talk to me and we can talk about figuring that out. And then the last week we talked about supplements, because again, this is another pretty wishy-washy area, and a lot of people are taking way more supplements than they need to, and not really the right ones. They just go off of what they hear about other people taking and what's worked for them. But supplements are a very individual thing. They're a very, very individual thing in terms of what your body needs, what conditions you have, and that sort of thing. So we do talk about supplements. And then, so today I wanted to tell you that we actually have 2 bonuses for this program currently. 2, which is super awesome. So the first one just recently got added. I'm just going to pull this up quick. Where'd it go? I totally am using my phone right now to do this talk, because my computer camera is not working. So I have books stacked up on my computer so that you can see me, which makes it difficult to type. However, okay, so the first bonus we have in the program is a special bonus, and it's from my colleague. Her name is Emma Roman, and she's actually going to be a guest expert in this group in a few weeks, so stay tuned. But she is an environmental engineer and the founder of Green at Home. So if you buy the Kickstarter right now, you will actually get a free 30-minute call with her, where she is going to explain the science behind the chemicals in your home. She's going to help you identify the sources of toxins in your home. This is really, really important, because a lot of these things are things that we don't really think about. We forget that our skin is our largest organ. So when we're, slathering on our body lotions and makeup and conditioners and, our cleaning products, all these things, we can be really affecting and messing with our hormones. So she's going to kind of walk you through and educate you on a bit on this. She can answer any of your questions, and she's going to help you reduce your exposure to these things and kind of help you out there. So that is a super, super, super awesome bonus. I'm so thrilled with that one. And it's awesome. So you'll have to thank her for that. But that is our first bonus. The second bonus, which is something brand new, you're the first people to hear about it, is going to be from me. And what's going to happen is, this is going to happen on October 19th at noon. You have to sign up for the Kickstarter program before Tuesday, October 17th. So that is the cutoff date. Tuesday, October 17th. So go sign up right now. Don't even wait for that. It's really only about 2.5 weeks away. So not a lot of time, but why wait? And what's going to happen is I'm going to do a masterclass with you on October 19th at noon. I will send you a private link. It will not be live on Facebook. It will only be for the people who have signed up for the Kickstarter program. And what we will do is we are going to touch on some of the other pillars of fertility that are not just nutrition. So the Kickstarter program really focuses on nutrition. It's very much like a nutrition 101 for fertility. And what we're going to do in the masterclass is we're going to cover some of the other aspects of it. So we're going to talk about stress and stress management. We are going to talk about exercise and movement. We are going to cover sleep and the importance of sleep for your health, your fertility, for your hormones. Sleep is very, very important. So we're going to talk about some of these other important pillars of fertility in this talk. So my guess is it'll be about an hour, but I will also be here to answer your questions. So it could be 2 hours. Who knows? Who knows how many questions you guys will have and how much I will continue talking. So yeah, super, super exciting. If you sign up for the Kickstarter between now, and like I said, why wait, and October 17th, which is a Tuesday in a couple weeks, you will be able to grab these 2 extra bonuses. So go sign up, go grab it. This mastermind class that I'm going to run is not, like I said, not available to anyone else. It's only for the people who sign up between this time frame. And there will probably be a replay. Yeah. So if you can't make it on October 19th at noon and you did sign up for the program, not to worry, I will record it and send it out to you after. And then you can watch it whenever you want, just like all the other videos. You download them to your computer, and you can watch them whenever you want. You can go back and review them, and all that great stuff. So, thank you so much. If you're interested, if you have questions about any of this stuff, please let me know. If you know someone else who you think would benefit from it, don't hesitate to add them to this group so that they can get more information. Don't hesitate to send them the link to the Kickstarter. It is a very reasonably priced, really reasonably priced program, and that was one of my goals in making it, is I wanted it to be that way, because I know this fertility journey can be expensive. So if you go to my website, katiekahvo.com, you can go to work with me and click on the Kickstarter link, or you can just go to katiekahvo.com/Kickstarter/ and that will take you right to the page with all the information and the sign-up sheet. Okay, so thanks again, ladies, and have a wonderful day.